Ladies and gentlemen, Behind the Line proudly presents to you another exciting edition of the Woke! Turning on the Woke! This episode is brought to you by the Boodle Soother. The past 4 years have been tough in the Biden economy. Prices on name brand items have skyrocketed, making the necessities unaffordable for the unemployed. In the last 4 years, millions of people have been suffering through the bruised caboose with no relief in sight until pretend doctors at Woke Memorial Hospital copied the formula of Preparation H and released an affordable version, the Boodle Soother. The Boodle Soother is available in all shapes and sizes. Mini tubes for a peso, mid-sized tubes for a penny, supersized tubes for those experienced with the magic of toxic masculinity. Stop sitting in discomfort by purchasing your tube today at boodlesoother.com. I see you, Donnie. I've heard about the sourness of your lemons. Now, obviously, I haven't seen it personally. I am not a subscriber to your Lonely Man's account, but I've heard about it. I've seen the lonely men on social media complaining about your outrage. What I'm struggling to understand is, where is all this bitterness coming from? Donnie, why are you so mad? Why are you so angry? Doesn't make sense to me. You are no longer dealing with the constraints of corporate media. I know the elimination of millions of dollars in woke welfare that CNN was generously giving you every 2 weeks. I know the elimination of your woke welfare was tough on you financially. But Donnie, you were working towards the American dream. You have started your own digital platform with some success. You're working for yourself. The day I quit my job, June 21st, 2021, that was the happiest day of my life. And I didn't have the benefit of millions of dollars sitting in my bank account. I didn't have the benefit of a mainstream profile. I was a nobody. Hell, I'm still a nobody. My channel had 2,000 subscribers when I quit my job. The month before I quit, my channel generated less than $300 in revenue. That was not enough money to pay my power bill. But the day I quit my job, it was the happiest day of my life because for the first time in 36 years of living, I was given the luxury of true freedom. There was no need for an alarm clock. I could wake up whenever the hell I wanted. Ironically enough, I now wake up at 6:30 every morning without an alarm clock. I had the freedom to set my own schedule. I had the luxury of talking about whatever the hell I wanted to talk about. For the first time in my life, I could do things my way. So I'm struggling to understand this constant bitterness with Don Lemon. I understood his frustration when he was working at CNN, when he was demoted from primetime to early mornings, a move that Donnie called a promotion. When Donnie was demoted to CNN this morning, he was waking up at 4 a.m. every morning knowing that he would be sitting next to Caitlin Collins. Katie, woo! Katie, woo! If I woke up every morning knowing that I would be starting my day next to the Roo, I'd be bitter too. But that's no longer the case for Donnie. It has been almost 2 years since his mainstream media career was buried in the woke cemetery. It's been a full year since Donnie became an entrepreneur and launched his digital platform. You would think Don Lemon would be happy. You would think that the lemons would be fresh instead of sour. But for some reason, Don Lemon is still miserable. And over the weekend, he spread that misery and unleashed his outrage towards his former pretend friends at MSNBC. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel in the description below. This morning on the second channel, talked about Tiger Woods and his new golf league potentially beating the NBA in the ratings tomorrow night. I received a lot of messages and emails from you guys this weekend asking if we were going to be talking about the atrocity that the NFL presented this weekend. As soon as the ratings for the playoffs are released, which should be later this afternoon or tomorrow, the NFL will be covered on one of the channels. Haven't decided whether it will be here on the main channel or the second channel, but either way, we will be getting to the NFL. Friday morning, John Scarborough, Mika Bazooka, they were hosting the Morning John on MSNBC. I'm sure some of you are surprised to hear that they still have a job. Ratings for the Morning John have literally been circling the John since the election. I would give you a brief ratings update for Joe and his bazooka, but I can't find ratings past November 20th. For some reason, it's getting harder and harder to find ratings for just about anything. Cable news, cable TV, broadcast ratings, ESPN, sports. Seems like the only ratings that are made available are the ratings they want us to see. I wonder why. Friday morning, Joey and Mika, they had a panel on the show to talk about the cordial chat between Barry the Obama and Donnie Trump at Jimmy Carter's funeral. Barry and Donnie, they were seen smiling, they were laughing together. It appeared to be a blossoming bromance, similar to what we see on First Take between Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp. Hey, it's me, say! Except, of course, Barry and Donnie, they weren't holding hands and exchanging woke hugs. But included on the panel was Susan Glasser from The New Yorker, Little Red Riding Hood Jen Psaki. She made a brief cameo appearance, but the segment, it was focused on Susan Glasser warning John and Mika about the dangers of being too civil with Donald Trump. A couple of months ago, John and Mika were heavily criticized by deacons at Woke United Methodist for having the audacity to spend a weekend with Donnie at Mar-a-Lago. According to Susie Glasser, that is very dangerous. Watch for yourself.
Having lived in Russia in the first few years after Vladimir Putin took power, the debates among those who sought to oppose him, they benefited him. They benefited him because they took their own fights over their version of civility much more seriously than they took the serious structural changes that were taking place in Russia that led to the end of Russian democracy.
Was Donnie squeezing the lemons during that segment? What the hell was that? Ooh, ah. I think Donnie forgot that he was on YouTube and not OnlyFans, but being the professional that he is, he quickly adjusted. To be honest with you, I don't know what the hell Susie was talking about. She seemed to be warning John and Mika about being too civil with the Trumper by comparing him to Vlad Putin in Russia, which is a tired narrative that has been disproven. I mean, why are they still trying to push the illusion of Russian collusion? That damn myth is part of the reason this network can't draw flies to a fresh turd. So I don't know what the hell Susie Glasser was talking about, but luckily, we have the infinite wisdom of Don Lemon to explain it to us. Watch for yourself.
One side is trying to get people to be civil because of their own uncivil actions, rather than just words. So when you see something like what happened yesterday, people have a right to be concerned because they go, well, if they're going to do that there publicly, what are they going to say and do behind closed doors? If they're going to acquiesce seemingly like that publicly, then what does that mean in the broader sense of the structure, the fabric of our society? You have to indicate to the American people that this is not normal. Kikiing and skinning and grinning with someone who has those that you have called a fascist over the last couple of years and the last months, that's not normal. Civility does not mean befriending people or foregoing your morals and your principles and your character. If someone disrespects my loved one, I don't have to smile in their fucking face. These are the very same MAGA people who have called, and Donald Trump has helped promote, calling Michelle Obama a man. I'm not smiling in your face if you're calling my sister or my mother or my wife or girlfriend a man. Fuck you.
First of all, if cackling Cam Harris had won this election, you know what narrative the mainstream media would be pushing? civility. They would be begging you not to criticize Cam Harris. They would be begging you to lighten the political discourse. Let's put aside our differences and be friends. Cam will lead us to the promised land where we can hold hands and sing together in the cackling choir. I love you, you love me. Cam is our new deity, so let's hold hands with people here illegally while toasting to civility. If Cam Harris or Johnny B. Biden won the election, civility would be the primary focus in the media. But since Donald Trump won, civility's no bueno. Outside of that, I understood what Don Lemon was saying. Doesn't mean I agree with it, but in some way, Donnie does kind of have a point. Even though he is no longer president, most people look at Barack Obama as the leader of the Democratic Party. For the past 12 to 18 months, the Democrats and their pretend friends in the mainstream media, they have been claiming that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. They have claimed that Donnie is a fascist. They have compared him to Vlad Putin. They have pretended that a second Trump term would be the end of American democracy, even though America is a republic and has never been a democracy. They've essentially been claiming that Trump would end something that never existed. All of a sudden, though, the Trumper defeats cackling Cam in a landslide, and Michelle Obama, she's not worried about democracy. She's not crying in the Delaware dungeon with pretend Dr. Jill Biden mourning the loss of democracy. She's appearing on daytime talk shows begging people to buy some doofus book. Her husband Barry is sitting next to the evil orange man at Jimmy Carter's funeral, working out tea times for the next golf game. So in a way, I understand Don Lemon's confusion. I understand Donnie's frustration. I'm sure it was traumatizing seeing the people that he worships becoming besties with Orange Man Bad. But throughout his emotional meltdown, Don Lemon failed to ask a simple question. I guess Donnie was too emotional to ask, why? Why all of a sudden is Barry befriending the Trumper? Why all of a sudden is Michelle no longer worried about democracy? Why are John Scarborough and Mika Bazooka so comfortable spending a weekend at Mar-a-Lago when they were two of the biggest offenders? Why? Maybe they are comfortable doing this because none of it was real. Maybe they're comfortable doing this because they know it was all propaganda. Donald Trump was never a threat to democracy, and they know it. Maybe Don Lemon is so upset because he was dumb enough to believe it. Give me your thoughts on this. Don Lemon torches the Morning John at MSNBC for pushing civility with the Trumper. It's another classic case of the woke turning on the woke. Why is Don Lemon so bitter? Is he upset because he was duped? He was fooled? If Cam Harris had won the election, would the mainstream media be pushing civility? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Best way to contact me is through email, btlkc84@gmail.com. I'll see you guys later.